Hello and welcome to another edition of Your Bridge to Addiction Resources, a show sponsored and affiliated with the Council on Chemical Abuse. My name is Jennifer Kaucher and I'll be your host for today's show. I'm here with my coworker Teresa Tieman. Teresa, can you introduce yourself and just let me know how you're involved with COCA?
Absolutely. So I'm a prevention specialist at the Council on Chemical Abuse. That job allows me to do lots of different things. One of those things is I am the Student Assistance Program representative for the Council. I also help with drug and alcohol prevention and education in the schools and other youth-led groups, and also oversee our tobacco grant funding for the County of Berks, and that includes doing tobacco smoking cessation classes and to help people who smoke quit, and also education around tobacco to try to prevent youth from ever starting to smoke.
And so what we call in the office tobacco holidays, which sounds kind of odd if you say it just because tobacco holidays sounds like a celebration, but in a way it kind of is, because it brings certain days of the year where we get to educate specifically youth, like you talked about. There is some that's beyond youth, but what is something that goes on every March? It's Kick Butts Day. Right?
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So this is definitely a youth-led initiative, a tobacco holiday, like Jennifer mentioned, where we focus on tobacco prevention, trying to get kids to say no to the big tobacco companies that are trying to get them to smoke and unfortunately replace the old smokers that ultimately get sick from cigarettes and tobacco use. Obviously, big tobacco, the cigarette companies, they're making lots and lots and lots of money off their products because they know they're geniuses. They have a product that is so addicting that if you try, their products, the likelihood of you getting addicted is very high. They obviously target to young kids. They want you to start young so that you have many, many years of smoking before you get sick and ultimately sometimes can die from this addiction, because this is a product that does kill you, does deteriorate your health, but it doesn't do it quickly, it does it slowly. So if the youth, every young person, were to say no to smoking, no to big tobacco, they ultimately have the power to put out of business these cigarette companies, which would be amazing because there's really no reason at all, other than money, why these products should be sold and should be legal.
Well, and I went in the schools with you in the past for Kick Butts Day, and what I always found interesting was when you tell the kids this, they're like, what? I don't want them to have my money.
Right.
Like, they get really kind of like anxious and like upset about it because they're not even realizing how much they're being advertised towards and how much is being pushed, especially now with e-cigarettes. It's new because I see teenagers, young kids smoking e-cigarettes, vaping, and so it has kind of changed the perception of a cigarette. There's still young people smoking cigarettes, but it has changed to e-cigarettes too, which we've seen.
Absolutely. We see history repeating itself with these new trendy tobacco products geared specifically to youth. Obviously, all people can use them, but because more and more, policies and regulations and laws have been passed in recent years, trying to limit smoking. A lot of kids were getting the message, that smoking isn't good for us. There's, no more smoking sections in restaurants and so forth. However, big tobacco, the geniuses that unfortunately they are, they try to, come up with new products all the time. And definitely the electronic cigarettes, the e-cigs, the vapes, the vape pens, hookah pens. Hookah is another really popular trend, unfortunately, among youth. They're not getting the message about those products. And they're seeing them different than they see cigarettes. So cigarettes are bad, but vaping is okay. Hookah is okay. And so this is a day that we can go in and educate youth on the reality of these products and say, no. They still have nicotine in it. They're still very addicting. Smoking is smoking. It still has chemicals and poisons and toxins still polluting your body, and ultimately it's going to take your money. And I know kids
they really respond to that.
They don't want to lose their money, so they're empowered to take a stand and say, wait a minute, I can do whatever I want with my life, and I'm not going to let the big tobacco companies control me and dictate that for me. So
yeah, and it does seem like being in the schools, you're kind of shedding light on those myths that they're believing, because they're seeing that cigarettes, like you said, are very negative. There's like a negative connotation with that, but with the other forms of smoking, there isn't.
Right.
So when you're in the schools doing education, like I was there with you in the past, we can talk about like what we do when we're there. What does it look like when you're in the schools? So
Kick Butts Day is not just here in Reading, but nationwide is a celebration basically for youth to say no. It's called Kick Butts Day because we're kicking the cigarette butts. I always have to tell the kids, no, we're not going out. Yeah, we're not going out.
We did bring a prop. Yeah,
we're not going out to beat up anybody, right? We're kicking these cigarette butts, and we get the kids involved by doing activities and a lunch day festival, or a festival during their day at lunchtime, where they're able to get the education that they need. We bring in displays that show, what's inside a cigarette and what happens to your lungs when you smoke, and your mouth, and all of that kind of stuff that kids are really, interested in. We play different games. We have a game this year called Tobacco Jeopardy, where it's Jeopardy, but all the questions are based on tobacco products, like the hookah, like the e-cigarettes, your traditional cigarettes, and also the smokeless tobacco, like the chew and the dip and that kind of stuff, to again let kids really have fun educating themselves on these different harmful products. We have a pledge then that they can sign to really take a stand and say no to smoking, and also with how the tobacco companies are looking at them as a replacement for those older smokers that are suffering health consequences and are dying or quitting smoking. They're taking a stand and saying, I'm not a replacement. I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm an athlete, I'm a future lawyer, a future doctor, I'm all these really great things, but I'm not a replacement for the big tobacco companies. I'm not going to be a smoker. We have a mascot there to make it really fun for the kids. We do hashtags so that they can upload the pictures to social media. Yeah, we make it really fun for the kids, and they tend to really have a good time.
Well, and what's really cool about it is it's very, we set it up, we bring all the props and everything, but it's very student-led.
Absolutely.
Like, we are working with the students in the school because we want their peers to be educating, they're educating themselves.
Exactly.
And so there is that educational part where you talk to the students, so they know kind of a heads up of what we're going to be talking about, but then they're actually doing all of the work at the events, which is great to see, because it's not strangers.
It's not just coming from adults. Kids unfortunately are used to always being instructed by adults, but here we work with, and specifically I have to give a shout out to the JROTC cadets at the Citadel. They are awesome kids, and these 9th graders really are taking initiative to learn the facts. I go in and I of course educate them. So you're absolutely right. Then on Kick Butts Day, the day that we're celebrating it will be March 4th, but this is something that we do throughout March. And they're able to then go to their peers during lunch and say, hey, come up, check this out, look what we're doing. And it's coming from student to student.
And also in the past, and we hope to continue doing this, is educating in the elementary schools too.
Yes.
With the students. So
we typically do that with World No Tobacco Day, where again, we educate students, hopefully the JROTC students or other high school students, to then take their tobacco knowledge into even younger populations. So, not only with their peers, but also the elementary students who really see these high school students.
Up to them so much.
Absolutely, as leaders. And it's really, really cool, the reaction that these high school kids get from these elementary kids. And so World No Tobacco Day is through the World Health Organization, another tobacco holiday that's celebrated in the springtime around May. And again, we're going into then elementary schools to educate younger students about the dangers of tobacco, trying to get that prevention education started early. The earlier the better, because these kids, they see smoking. The butts are all over the streets. They see people smoking in TV and movies and just in everyday life. And so again, when these high school students can go into the elementary schools and educate the elementary students, it's a great day. And the last holiday that we have is the Great American Smokeout in November. which focuses on adults or people who are smokers, who are addicted to smoking and looking to quit. And of course, we can provide those resources to help people quit and take back their health, take back their freedom, take back their life, and end that tobacco nicotine addiction.
Yeah. So it really seems like we're trying in 1 year, trying to cover all the different populations.
Yes.
And specifically, obviously with Berks County, we're in Berks County schools, we're at health fairs. Sometimes we are at, I know in the past we've been at the, completely going blank, Senior Expo,
yes.
talking about quitting smoking, because even if you're in your 70s or 80s, it's still beneficial to quit smoking.
Absolutely.
So
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Within 20 minutes of quitting that cigarette, your body starts healing and repairing and recovering. So it's never too late to quit. Your body will thank you for it. Absolutely. And we know most smokers do want to quit. They just need the support to do it. And we're able to provide those resources for them. And you're right. Immediately, your body can start healing and repairing and recovering within 20 minutes after putting out that cigarette.
And as we tell the kids, it's easier to not start than to have to quit. So it's great that you have the opportunity to be in the schools talking to the kids about this and hoping that in the future it makes an impact on them and their future life. So
absolutely.
Thank you for coming in today and sharing. If you want more information about what the Council on Chemical Abuse does, you can reach us at www.cocaberks.org or call us at 610-376-8669. Thanks so much for tuning in. Check back every week for a new story with your Bridge to Addiction resources. You can call 610-376-8669 or visit online at cocaberks.org. COCABERKS.org. Be sure to like and follow the Council on Chemical Abuse on Facebook and Twitter.